Yellow. Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Lao Tzu. But at the same time, Elon Musk. Constantly seek criticism. A well-thought-out critique of whatever you're doing is as valuable as gold. Elon Musk. These two ideas are paradoxical, but at the same time, it's as if reality in and of itself is paradoxical. You can't care what other people think, but at the same time, you need conflicting perspectives to ensure that you yourself aren't delusional. It's necessary. You need both. To not care, but to also care. It's so weird to think about, isn't it? Let me put it this way. With Kamaru Usman, if he listened to every person who naysayed him, if he listened to every person who told him his style was boring or impractical, do you think he'd ever get to the level he got to? He got to where he is. He got to his status as one of the greatest welterweights of all time. He got to that status by listening to himself and by listening to people close to him, listening to people who are on his side. That's how we should operate. That's the correct mindset. It's not necessarily to listen to everyone, because everyone can have a perspective. Everyone can have an opinion, and often that opinion, that perspective is not grounded tangibly, not grounded against who you actually are, but more so is a projection of themselves as a mirror stemming from their own mind. When given the power to do so, they project what they feel upon to you, in a way compensating for that status inequality they feel. But a well-constructed argument coming out of understanding, love and understanding, that is what we should seek. That is where we should look for our criticism, look for our feedback. If a person genuinely cares for you, if they have some level of understanding in regards to the world you're operating in, that's where you should look. And even then, if it comes into conflict with your own internal compass, you should reason with that as well. You should take it as a grain of salt, adding to your own pool of kind of knowing, and using that to help better navigate your own decisions. That is how we don't listen to everything, but at the same time, listen to what is needed. You look for people who genuinely care for you.
And I felt so powerless at that moment to where I said, you know what? No, I'm going to change that. And then, of course, with the help of my coach, he kept picking on me too. Oh, you're scared to come in. You're scared to come in. I said, no, I'm going. Finally went in that one day, and the rest was history.
And entertain their perspective to see if it makes sense to your worldview. And in that sense, you either have to adjust your own worldview or reject it. In the end, it's a game of listening to yourself while listening to others. The paradox. And because you have a limited attention span, because you can't entertain everything, because it's not your job to be on the battleground of ideas with everyone, you have to learn how to not care what everyone else thinks. The moment you become successful in any domain of existence, you will receive criticism. In that sense, when you do, to be playful with it, to have a sense of humor, to not care that much. That's what we see from Kamaru Usman. This is a brilliant way of embracing that suck and discharging it with an air of, I'm going to do what it takes to play my game and win. Is it the most entertaining? Any form of dominance, if anything is overly dominant one way or another, the loudest voices will always come in the form of a lack of appreciation. And that's really what it boils down to. If you're so good at any domain that it completely suppresses the tools and challenges presented by your opposition, you will be underappreciated. You will be underrated. That's the curse of being too good. That in and of itself is a paradox where even an emperor, a conqueror, a general, conquering nations all the same, if they do it too easy, they'll brush it off as your enemy being weak, as something trivial. they'll never appreciate the preparation, the strategy, the amount of time and effort it took for you to become what you are. Because at the end of the day, Kamaru Usman is playing a very difficult game. He's playing a game of control. He's limiting his opponent's options and forcing them to funnel out lower risk options that he could attack. It's an investment over time strategy, making smart investments along the way. But at the same time, there's not a romance to it. There's not a thrill to it. There isn't a great story to it. Nonetheless, though, in embracing this, what's happening? In embracing all of this and making fun of it by joking around, what's happening? Even if you read his comment section, people are actually starting to like him. They're actually starting to appreciate him for what he's doing. They're giving him positive affirmations for joking around. That's crazy if you think about it. If you consistently win, but at the same time, if you consistently embrace the truth, even as a joke, people will start to like you for it. Greatness. Remarkable, remarkable accomplishment. Only the people who experience it firsthand, or the people who are doing it themselves, learning themselves, can appreciate that game. To the rest of us, until that framework is established, until we can see what is truly happening, the mini game he is playing, the chess he is playing, because that's what it is. No one can truly appreciate chess until they understand it. When you're given some framework to understand, that's when the game becomes more interesting. Unless you've developed a palate for it, the same way you cannot appreciate food the same way a foodie can, because they've expanded their tier of understanding. They've expanded the depth through which their brain can interpret the meal they're consuming. And that's just life. After all, the truth remains that understanding is the path to love. Thank you all for watching. And until next time, peace.